All right, I'm going to try to do a comparison of these two tourniquets. We've got the genuine North American Rescue cat tourniquet. This is a Gen 7. Yeah, there it is. I bought this from the North American Rescue website. So like it's legit. It's not a copy. Then you've got the North American Rescue one. They have their own website, but they're also commonly sold on Amazon. It's pretty obvious that this was intended to be, I don't want to say a direct copy, but damn near a direct copy of the cat tourniquet, which brings to the question of does it work? Well, I'm not going to cut my leg off and find out, but I'm going to try to do like an evaluation of its construction and materials. So let's start with the width of this thing. Let's see here. Yeah, I got that zeroed out. It's a little weird trying to do this through a viewfinder. All right, let's start with the cat. I'm going to measure it kind of across where the buckle is here. We've got 37.9 millimeters, something like that. Just say 38 millimeters. The Rhino is 38.5, basically the same. I'm just going to try to do the cat first time every time. That way it's consistent. Thickness 3.2 millimeters. Thickness 3.9 millimeters. So how these things work is we have these two nylon straps, right, that go through the windlass. Same thing on the cat. And if you were to take one of these things apart, you'd see that these actually run the full length of the tourniquet. So let's go ahead and measure the width of these. On the cat, the width is 26 millimeters. And on the 25? Yeah, we'll call that 25 millimeters. So it's a little less wide. Let's check the thickness. That's like what, 4%? 25 versus 26, something like that. 4% thinner. All right, the thickness of the two straps is 1.1 millimeters on the cat tourniquet. And wow, 1.4 millimeters on the Rhino Rescue one. So that's like 30%. Okay, so it's slightly less wide this direction, 1 millimeter less wide this direction, but 30% thicker this direction. So overall, there's probably more material there. It's hard to say. Let's look at the buckles. On the cat, we've got I'm trying to go across the thinnest part of this buckle. 4 millimeters by 6.8. 4 millimeters by 6.8. And on the Rhino, we've got 5.2 millimeters by 7.5. Okay. Wow, is that really that big of a difference? 7.5 versus 6.8. Yeah, wow. Now I'm going to open this up so we can get a closer look at the closer look at the buckles. Oh yeah, that's definitely a beefier buckle. It's also got some nice, like, stippling on here. You know, for recoil control of your buckle. But yeah, that's definitely a beefier buckle. Let's compare the windlasses. Or actually, while I have them apart, let's look at this. Let's look at the length. Yeah, all this damn Velcro sticking together. The Rhino is marginally longer, like a ½ inch or something. So let's compare the length of these things. I'd say the Cat is like 1 millimeter longer in the windlass. Let's check the middle diameter. We're like 12.6 millimeters on the Cat and 12.9 millimeters on the 12 point something. So it's about the same, if not slightly larger on the Rhino. Now we'll do the bendy test. This is going to be very subjective. I don't have a way of measuring this, so I'm just going to bend it and tell you how it feels. That's pretty freaking strong. Let's see, how was I bending that? Okay, I'm bending it like across the slot. Here we go. So I'll bend it in the same way on this one. Oh. I mean, it's subjective, but that's, to me, feels less squishy. It feels, oh yeah, that's dramatically less squishy than the Cat tourniquet. This plastic part right here doesn't actually hold any, that's just there to stop the windlass from binding up with your clothes. This doesn't actually hold any load, so I'm not going to bother to measure it. The only other difference I've noticed between these two things, the Cat on the windlass catch right here, it's hard to see. Put my finger on it there. It's basically straight. Whereas on the Rhino Rescue one, they have it at an angle. So I think that's so that when the tourniquet comes in, it's easier, right? It's because the tourniquet's going to be at an angle when it comes in to lock into place. So I guess the idea there is supposed to make it easier to go in. I don't know if it does or not. I have put this on my arm. It does work. I mean, yeah, obviously. In terms of I can clamp it down pretty easily and not get a pulse. So, one last bit of measurement for the sake of it. I'm gonna have to reset these tourniquets here. All right, we're at 79 grams for the Cat tourniquet and 82 grams for the Rhino Rescue. So it seems like there's just a bit more material in here. It looks to me like when they were designing this, they were like, well, we definitely don't want it to be weaker than the Cat. And so they just made everything slightly beefier when they put it together. Cost of this is $30. Cost of this is $12. And you might say, well, that's really not much of a cost difference. You might as well get the Cat with its reputation and guarantee and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that makes sense. But I guess it comes down to how many tourniquets do you want. If you just need 1 or 2 tourniquets, then yeah, like get the Cat. If you're like, okay, I want 10 tourniquets. I want to have one in my car. I want to have one in all of my cars. I want to have one under the bathroom sink. I want to have one in all of my plate carriers and every range bag and, you know, my backpack for hiking. And, you know, if you're like, I just want to have tourniquets everywhere. well then, like, the cost difference is dramatic. I mean, does it work? I mean, I don't know. Of course, like I said, I've put it on my arm. It easily cuts off circulation. The functionality of it is basically identical to this. There's really nothing to comment about there. And I'm 100% sure that North American Rescue doesn't have priests working at their factory to like put a healing enchantment on their tourniquet to stop the bleeding. Like, it's a mechanical device. You know, it's governed by the same laws of physics as everything else. This is constructed as well or better. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't work. Anyway, that's my 2 cents.